They may not be speaking to you, they may not be liking your posts, they may not be reaching out, but they are watching. And spiritually, there is a reason your energy has become impossible for them to ignore. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the channel. Welcome to Celestial Oracle Codes. Thank you to your spiritual team and my spiritual team, confirmation received, for being here, and we will tap in and see what this energy is all about. So this message is for the one who has been feeling, sensing, or quietly knowing that people are watching. And not necessarily in a dramatic way. Look at all the eyes on that card. All those are eyes. They're watching you. Alright, so it's not necessarily in a dramatic way or a dangerous way. It's in a subtle spiritual way where you can feel eyes on your energy. You can feel that someone is curious. You can feel that someone is paying attention. You can feel that somebody who once dismissed you, misunderstood you, underestimated you, doubted you, walked away from you, or thought that they had you all figured out is actually taking a second look. So they're definitely looking again, and now the message coming through is very clear. They're watching you because your energy changed. They're watching you because something about you no longer feels the same. You're not carrying yourself the same way. You're not chasing validation. You're not explaining yourself the same way. You're not giving people unlimited access to your emotional body, I'm hearing. You're not begging people to understand your heart. You're not overextending yourself to keep connections alive. You're not shrinking yourself to keep other people comfortable. And whether they admit this or not, they can feel it. They can feel that you pulled your energy back. They can feel that you are no longer standing in the same place emotionally. And they can feel that something inside of you has matured, settled, awakened, or become stronger. And that's why they're watching. So, not because you're failing, okay? Not because you're low, not because you're behind, not because you're doing something wrong. They're watching because your energy has become noticeable. Your glow is noticeable, your discipline is noticeable, your healing is noticeable, your peace is noticeable, your boundaries are really noticeable, and your detachment is very noticeable. Okay, so some of you are being watched by a past person. For others, this is a group of people who knew the old version of you. Interesting. So this could be family, this could be old friends, this could be people from work, this could be people from your spiritual community, this could be someone who had access to your love, your support, your presence, your vulnerability, and now they're realizing that access was sacred. So something about your field is saying, I know who I am now, I know what I carry, I know what I deserve, and I know where I'm going. And I don't have to perform, prove, chase, or collapse to be chosen. So that shift is very powerful. Phoenix energy. And when a person begins to stand in that kind of energy, people notice. Even people who pretend, they don't notice. Even people who are silent, people who act unbothered, people who are too prideful to say, I see you changing. They see it, they feel it. And for some of them, it's making them uncomfortable. Not because your growth is wrong, but because your growth is revealing something. Your growth is revealing where they misjudged you. Honestly, your growth is revealing where they underestimated your strength, where they assumed you would always be available, where they thought your love meant weakness. Your growth is revealing where they thought your softness meant you would always tolerate confusion, inconsistency, breadcrumbs, silence, or disrespect. And now they're watching you become a version of yourself that can no longer be controlled through old patterns. So that is very important and significant here, because sometimes people only realize your value when you stop offering it so freely. Sometimes people only realize your power when you stop seeking permission to stand in it. And sometimes people only realize your light when they no longer have the same access to it. So, beautiful soul, this is not about revenge. This is not about proving them wrong. This is not about becoming cold, bitter, hard, jaded, or untouchable, right? This is about recognizing that your energy is returning to you. Your attention is returning to you. Your love is returning to you. Your power is returning to you. And that return is visible. Spirit has shown me that many of you have been in a season where you're quietly changing. I'm seeing a caterpillar go into a cocoon, and then you can, it's like there's a light in the cocoon, and you can see the shadow of this caterpillar kind of transforming. That's very, very amazing. So you did not tell everyone how deeply you were healing. You didn't post every breakthrough. You didn't explain every ending. You didn't announce every lesson. You just went through it. You cried through it. You prayed through it. You journaled through it. You sat through it, right? You just sat with yourself. You chose yourself through it. You rebuilt yourself through it. And now the energy around you is different. There is a different authority in your field. There's this different calmness in your presence. And there's a different weight in your silence. There's also a different glow around your face, your voice, your movements, or the way you show up. You're just showing up way different. And people are sensing that you're not the same person they last had access to. That's why some people are watching from the background. They're watching, trying to understand what happened. They're asking themselves, how do they feel different? Right? Why do they feel different? Why are they not reacting anymore? Why are they not chasing anymore? Why are they not explaining anymore? Why are they not seeming upset or confused or conflicted anymore? Why do they seem more confident? Why does it feel like they're moving on? Why do they seem more peaceful? Why does it feel like they're becoming more magnetic? Why does it feel like I missed something? And here's the deeper truth: they did miss something. They missed the private transformation. They missed the nights you had to hold yourself together. They missed the moments where you almost gave up, right? But chose to keep going. They missed the spiritual initiations. They missed the activations. They missed the inner work. They missed the prayers. They missed the realizations. They missed the moment when you finally said, I cannot keep abandoning myself to be understood by people who benefit from my confusion. That is over. That was a turning point. Now they're watching the result of that turning point. For some of you, this watching is connected to love. Okay, there may be someone who is watching you because they feel you slipping away energetically. They may not know how to say it, they may not know how to fix it, and they may not know how to approach it. But at the end of the day, the old dynamic is not working anymore, and they can feel it. And they can also feel that your heart is still loving, but your standards are stronger. They can feel that your energy is no longer waiting in the same way. And this is creating pressure inside of them. Not pressure that you need to manage, not pressure that you need to rescue them from, but pressure that is showing them the truth. Because your absence, your silence, or your emotional maturity is forcing them to look at themselves. Take a good, hard look. And some people only understand your presence when they meet your absence. So some people only understand your softness when they're no longer able to drain it. Some people only understand your loyalty when they realize you're no longer available for imbalance. And if this is a romantic connection, the message is very clear. They're watching because they're trying to measure whether you still have energetic access whether they still have energetic access, right, to your divine energy. This is the angel card. For God's sake, I can't even believe the angel card came out here. This is representing you and the unseen forces that are protecting you. Let's be very clear. So they're watching to see if they have energetic access to you. They're watching to see if you still care. They're watching to see if you are still open. They're watching to see if you moved on. They're watching to see if you're happier. They're watching to see if somebody else is in your energy, in that angelic aura. They are watching to see if your glow is because of healing, love, success, or a new chapter. But Spirit is saying, do not let being watched pull you out of your center. Don't start performing because you know someone may be looking. Don't start posting for a reaction. Don't turn your healing into a message aimed at someone else. Stay pure, stay anchored, stay in your own lane. Confirmation received, thank you. Do not start moving for an audience, because the power of this season is not that they are watching. The power of this season is that you are no longer living to be watched. And that is the difference. The old version of you may have wanted someone to see your pain. The old version of you may have wanted someone to finally understand that what they lost, the old version of you may have wanted someone, to regret how they treated you. You may have wanted someone to finally understand all that you were to them. But this version of you is learning something deeper. You don't need their regret to validate your worth. You don't need their attention to confirm your glow. You don't need their curiosity to prove your transformation, and you definitely don't need their return to prove that you were lovable. You were always lovable, right? You were already lovable. You were already valuable. You were already chosen by the divine. You always were. And you were already carrying something sacred. So the difference is now you're starting to believe it without needing another person to mirror it back. That's why your energy is shifting. That's why your field is becoming stronger. That's why your presence feels different. Ultimately. Yeah. It feels very different. So, because you're no longer outsourcing your identity, you're no longer waiting for someone else's recognition to become the evidence of your own worth. You're becoming more magnetic. It's activating magnetic allure in you. Magnetic allure is an ancient gift. The most recent person I can think of who actually used magnetic allure at will, the most recent famous person that I can think of, was Marilyn Monroe. So it is a real thing, and it makes you very attractive and magnetic, and so you will feel that activating now. And people watching you may not even understand what they're watching right now. They may think they're watching your social media. They may think they're watching your appearance. They may think they're watching your success. And they may think they're watching your dating life. But spiritually, they're watching your frequency change, right? So they may just think that they're watching your confidence. They're watching your inner authority rise. They're watching your nervous system stabilize. They're watching your self-respect become visible. They're watching your old self transform caterpillar into butterfly, into your soul step out of an old contract. Confirmation received. Let's be clear. The caterpillar will never know the freedom and the perspective of flying from flower to flower and, going wherever you want, light as a feather. And the butterfly will never know the confinements and constraints of crawling on your belly and the insatiable hunger of trying to find something to eat for your entire existence. Even though it's the same creatures sharing the same world, the transformation turns the perception so profoundly that neither one of them will ever experience. what the other does in this life. So that's a strong message coming through for someone. So they're watching you stop needing the role they once played in your life. They're watching your soul step out of that old contract. And for some people, that is confronting because when you heal, you interrupt old energetic agreements. You interrupt the agreement that said you would always overgive. You interrupt the agreement that said you would always be available. You interrupt the agreement that said you would always be the emotional one. You interrupted the agreement that said you would always explain yourself. You interrupt the agreement that said you would always absorb the discomfort, right? The agreement that said you would always keep the peace by betraying yourself. You interrupted it. And once the agreement breaks, people feel the shift. Confirmation received. They may not have the language for it, but they feel it. That is why some people may suddenly become curious, right? That's why someone may randomly view your stories. Someone may ask about you through another person. Why someone may suddenly become warmer. Why someone may test the waters. Someone may copy you, right? Others may bring up your name. For others, they may appear in your dreams. That's why you may feel someone thinking about you. That's why old energy may start circling again. But here's the guidance. Not everyone watching deserves access. Not everyone curious deserves information. And most certainly not everyone missing you deserves your energy. Not everyone who sees your light is prepared to honor it. Discernment is required now because your field is opening. Your visibility is increasing. Your magnetism is increasing, your spiritual presence is increasing, and as your light grows, okay, as your light grows, Phoenix, Angel, Siren, Energy. Never have I seen all three of these cards come out at once. So your magnetism is increasing. Your spiritual presence is increasing because your field is opening. And it's powerful. And your light is growing. As your light grows, you may attract both aligned attention and unhealed attention. So the instruction is not to hide. The instruction is to stay sovereign. You can be visible and protected. You can be magnetic and discerning. You can be loving and have boundaries. You can be open and wise. You can be kind and unavailable to old patterns. This is a season where your energy is becoming too clear to be manipulated by confusion. That's why they're watching. Because you're no longer easy to read through the old lens. They can't predict you the same way. They can't trigger you the same way. They most certainly can't pull you into the same cycle as easily. So they can't rely on the same emotional access. They can't assume that your love will make you abandon your own standards. And this is making them look closer. For some of you, there is also an energy of admiration here. Not everyone watching is doing so with envy, regret, or confusion, right? Some people are watching because they are inspired. They see you growing. They see you creating. They see you becoming more authentic. They see you showing up with more courage. They see you healing in a way that they wish they could. They see your light and it is awakening something in them. This is important because not all attention is negative. Some of it is confirmation. Some of it is respect. Some of it is silent admiration. Some of it is spiritual recognition. Some of it is people realizing there is something different about them. There is something real about them. There is something powerful about them. There is something I can learn from them. And for those of you who are creators, healers, readers, teachers, leaders, guides, artists, entrepreneurs, spiritual workers, or people stepping into public visibility, this message is especially important. You are entering a season where more people will watch before they support. More people will observe, right? They'll just watch you and observe you before they engage. More people will study your consistency before they trust your voice. More people will quietly receive from your energy before they ever tell you that your work helped them in any way. Do not let silence make you think nothing is happening. Do not let low engagement, right? Don't let a lower engagement or a lower exchange of energies make you think no one is receiving. Do not let hidden watchers make you doubt your impact. Ultimately, sometimes people are being changed by you, right? They're being changed by you. It may be happening privately. I'm hearing before they ever acknowledge you publicly. Oh, wow. Keep showing up. I'm hearing keep showing up. I'm hearing keep letting the work be clean. I'm hearing keep letting the message be pure. I'm hearing keep letting the light speak, because your consistency is teaching people how to trust your energy. And for someone listening, this is connected to a major glow up. You may be changing your appearance, changing your habits, changing your spiritual practice, changing your content, changing your relationships, changing your money patterns, changing your emotional reactions, your standards, your body language, the way you speak, the way you move through the world. And the people who were used to the older version of you are noticing. They may not clap, they may not comment, they may not encourage you, they may not say, I'm proud of you, but they see it, and Spirit wants you to know, well, first and foremost, the Most High Spirit is proud of you. Do not shrink because you are being seen. Do not go back into hiding because you feel observed. Do not apologize for outgrowing the version of you that made you who you are and made other people more comfortable. You are allowed to evolve. Caterpillar to butterfly. You are allowed to become more beautiful. You are allowed to become more successful. Some of you need to hear that. So I'm giving you that spiritual authority now. You can hear it right here. You are allowed. You are worthy. You are good enough. You are significant. You do belong. You don't have to be perfect. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to become more beautiful. Perfect things cannot evolve. They are what they are. You are allowed to become so much more. And you're allowed to become more successful. You're allowed to become more peaceful. You are allowed to become more confident. You are allowed to become more spiritually powerful. You are allowed to become more selective, right? More discerning. You're allowed to become less available to chaos. You're most certainly allowed to become unrecognizable to people who only knew you in survival mode. That is not arrogance. That is healing. That is embodiment. That is restoration. And that is the soul returning to its throne. Now, the deeper spiritual reason they're watching is because your energy is announcing a timeline shift. You're not just changing externally, you're changing timelines internally. And the version of you who tolerated confusion is fading. The version of you who needed external validation is fading. The version of you who over-explained your heart is fading. The version of you who kept giving people access without accountability is fading. You're getting all your colors and insight back. And a more sovereign version is rising. Again, Phoenix energy. A calmer version, a clearer version, a more spiritually mature version, a more magnetic version, a more embodied version, and a version that does not have to force anything because it understands alignment. And people can feel when someone enters a new timeline. They may not call it that, but they feel it. They feel when your energy is no longer belonging to the old story. They feel when your heart is becoming free. They feel when your identity is no longer built around being chosen by them. They feel when your power is no longer leaking into old attachments. They feel when you've stopped waiting at the door of a chapter that already taught you what it needed to teach you. And that creates spiritual movement. For some, it creates curiosity. For some, it creates regret. For some, it creates admiration. For some, it creates envy. For some, it creates a desire to reconnect. For some, it creates a desire to compete. For some, it creates a realization that they misread you. But your job is not to manage their reaction to your growth. Your job is to keep growing, keep returning to peace, keep choosing integrity, keep your energy clean, keep moving in alignment. Your job is to let your life become the evidence of your healing. Because the most powerful response is not always a message. Sometimes the most powerful response is stability. Sometimes the most powerful response is consistency. Sometimes the most powerful response is joy. Sometimes the most powerful response is not reacting. And sometimes the most powerful response is continuing to become the person they never thought you would become after you walked away. Not for them, for you. And that is the sacred distinction. You are not glowing up to be watched. You're glowing up because your soul is ready to live differently. And you are not healing to prove a point. My beautiful, beautiful soul, you're healing because you deserve peace. You are not becoming magnetic to make someone regret losing you. You're becoming magnetic because you are magnetic and because your energy is no longer divided against itself. And that is why this season is powerful. Arguably your most powerful season. The Watchers are not the center of the message. Their transformation relies on your transformation, and your transformation is the center of the message. The watching is only confirmation that the transformation is visible. So, what should you do now? First, do not panic. Don't panic. Being watched does not mean you need to hide your light. Express your light, your creativity, your compassion, your insights, your wisdom, your higher thoughts, learning, wisdom, knowledge, emotions. Do not start shaping your life around who might be looking. Okay, so do not perform. And third, do not regress. Do not reopen doors just because someone shows curiosity. Fourth, keep your standards. Just keep your standards. Attention is not the same as alignment. Watching is not the same as accountability. Curiosity is not the same as love. And regret is not the same as readiness. And admiration is not the same as consistency. So let people reveal themselves through action over time. Because behavior is the most powerful and clear direct communication in the universe. Ultimately, behavior is the only true way to communicate with the universe. It's the highest form of communication in the universe. So do not be seduced by the fact that someone is watching. Observation is easy. Transformation is different. Accountability is different. Communication is different. Respect is different. Emotional maturity is different. So if someone wants access to the new version of you, they must meet the new standard of your life because it's different. And they cannot enter through the old door. They cannot use the old password. They cannot come in through guilt, nostalgia, confusion, or emotional pressure, right? The new version of you requires clarity, requires respect, consistency, truth, peace. That's not too much. It's not too much to ask. That is alignment. And if they are watching because they want to return, they will eventually have to do more than watch. They'll have to show maturity, right? Communicate honestly, take responsibility. They will have to respect your boundaries. They will have to meet you where you are now, not where you left, right? Not where they left you. And if they can't do that, their watching does not need to become your concern. Let them watch from the distance while you keep walking toward your destiny, is the message that's coming through. Let them watch while you heal. Let them watch while you build. Let them watch while you become. Watch while you choose peace, while you stop abandoning yourself. While your life gets brighter, let them watch while your soul becomes free. Because your energy is not a performance. Your energy is a testimony. It is the testimony of what happens when someone stops begging to be chosen and starts choosing themselves. It is the testimony of what happens when someone stops chasing closure and becomes the closure. It is the testimony of what happens when someone stops shrinking and starts embodying. It is the testimony of what happens when someone survives the breaking and becomes more whole than before. And that's what they're watching. They're watching the resurrection of your energy. Phoenix energy. They're watching the return of your power. Confirmation received. They're watching the evidence of your healing. And they're watching the glow that comes when the soul is no longer negotiating with what drains it. And beautiful soul, that glow is sacred. Protect it. Honor it. Do not dim it. Come on. Don't explain it. It doesn't need to be explained to people. So don't explain it to people. Especially don't explain it to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. Don't hand it back to people who only appreciated it after losing access. Let your glow become a boundary. Let your peace become a filter. Let your silence become a sanctuary. Let your next chapter become too aligned to interrupt by old confusion. Right? It's just too aligned. It can't be interrupted. So because this is not just about them watching you, this is about you finally seeing yourself, seeing your strength, seeing your beauty, seeing your growth, seeing your power, seeing how far you've come, seeing that you're not who you used to be, seeing that the divine did not forget you, seeing that everything you survived became part of your authority, seeing that the love, recognition, I'm hearing abundance, clarity, and peace you wanted from the outside are now beginning to rise from within you. Phoenix energy again. And when that happens, the world notices. People notice. Past energies notice. Future opportunities notice. Aligned souls notice. The spiritual realm notices. Because when you reclaim your light, your field changes. So because your field changed, angel, phoenix energy. Because your field changed, your reality is starting to respond differently. So yes, they're watching. But let them watch the version of you who no longer needs to be watched to know that they're worthy, right? Let them watch the version of you who no longer confuses attention with love. Let them watch the version of you who no longer hands power to people who only offer uncertainty. Let them watch the version of you who is building a life rooted in peace, purpose, self-respect, and divine alignment. And if they're meant to meet you in this new chapter, they will have to rise. They will have to come correctly. And they will have to respect the version of you that healed and is healing, right? So ultimately, the version of you that healing created. And if they do not respect that, you keep going. Because your destiny is not dependent on who is watching. Your destiny is responding to who you are becoming. So take this as confirmation. Your energy has changed. Your glow is speaking. Your silence is speaking. Your growth is speaking. Your boundaries are speaking. Your peace is speaking. Your healing is speaking. And even from a distance, they can hear it. They're watching you because you're becoming impossible to ignore. But your assignment is to remain centered, remain sovereign, remain pure, focused in your heart, in your truth, and on your path. Because the more you stop performing for the watchers, the more your real life begins. And that is where your blessing is. That is where your freedom is. That is where your next chapter opens. Not in being seen by them, but in finally being fully present within yourself. So, beautiful soul, let them watch. You keep becoming. Period. Ultimately, if this message resonated with you, please follow your heart. Congratulations on your transformation and healing. Honor them now. And realize that you are the prize and protect your precious energy. Be very discerning. I'm not saying do or do not allow anyone in your life. What I'm saying is only allow the people who deserve to be there. That is my way shower insight. Your energy has changed. You're not the same person who used to over-explain, over-give, overextend, and wait to be chosen. And now, your life is beginning to reflect that. So, beautiful soul, this is your reminder that being watched does not mean you need to shrink. It means your transformation is visible. It means your healing is speaking. It means your energy is reaching places your words never had to go. So protect your peace, honor your glow, stay sovereign, and remember, attention is not the reward. Alignment is the reward. Peace is the reward. Self-respect is the reward. Becoming yourself is the reward, right? And whoever is meant to meet you there will not just watch. They'll rise, they'll respect, they'll align. They'll show up in a way that honors you. They'll show up in a way that honors the person that you've become. Until then, keep going. Let them watch. You keep becoming. Because what you're becoming is otherworldly and next level. Okay? Angel, Phoenix, Siren energy. It's so magnetic and so alluring, right? Siren energy is alluring. Siren angel energy is powerful, alluring, and magnetic. Siren angel Phoenix energy is powerful, alluring, transformative, magnetic energy. That's you, and that's beautiful. So, if this message resonated, please only take what resonates. Lovingly leave the rest for whomever it is for. As always, I love you all unconditionally. And if you're not a subscriber, please do consider subscribing. We'd love to have you around. Other than that, I send you all my light, my love, and my blessings. And I will see you all in my next reading.